Good evening, everybody. Apologies for the slight delay to the start of the stream. Running a little bit behind this evening. I just scarfed some dinner down. Not sure what all we're going to be getting into this evening. With the Players' Championship being delayed, we could be... It's going to be probably pretty difficult to do much in terms of showdown content, weekend golf, and all that stuff. We can certainly take a look if there are any questions and whatnot. We can certainly take a look into that. But with the players being so delayed, so backed up, if you will, and I'll make sure I'll have all of the info up in the background. But I thought it might be a good opportunity to look forward to some baseball, especially with the World Baseball Classic starting. I'm kind of in a baseball mood. Get ready to have Major League Baseball start, and that'll be just about 3 weeks or so. But welcome to the stream this evening. Hope your week has went well. If not, you are ready to sit back, relax, listen to some music, and get some advice around some golf or baseball content, and particularly with betting and DFS. So, like I said, I will have the in-tournament stats up here in the background in case people would like to get an idea of what I see in terms of showdown for the Players' Championship. But what I've been working on today, for the majority of today, is getting all of my information organized for baseball. You can see I am working my way through the teams. I went through MLB.com and gathered the 40-man rosters for every team. And I went ahead and started with the AL. This is the pitchers file. I do have the hitters file complete for the American League. So we can definitely take a look at that, and I'll be finishing up the pitching file tonight during the stream. But I thought it would also be fairly interesting, as you can see the tab down here. This is a new site that I have found in the off season, and I am interested in seeing how it performs with an eye towards the analytics. So I've been gathering all of those stats throughout the day, organizing it and whatnot. So pardon me as I'm a little bit everywhere right now. As I said, I had a delayed start, scarfed down some dinner. Let me organize my chat settings, get everything situated to where I can interact with you all. But I am wanting to see how the new site that I have found works with an eye towards analytics. And I think it's also going to be it'll be interesting. I want to take a look at some DraftKings baseball. Of course, we might be looking into some World Baseball Classic. Maybe not. But honestly, with DFS not starting at least for Major League Baseball regular season, let's take a look at some, perhaps, some odds for some baseball stuff. Division winners, maybe some awards. Like I said, with the World Baseball Classic starting this week, and with the terrible weather that they're getting at Sawgrass, and the entirety of the PM wave having been delayed, I'm in a baseball mood tonight. So feel free to join me in chat if you have any questions regarding golf. We will absolutely look at that. But I am going to be, I think, focused on baseball this evening. And I've only organized the American League. So I will have DraftKings up here off to the side. Take a look at some of the odds and whatnot. And if you would like to look at some World Baseball Classic, we can absolutely do that as well. Let's see. Let me bring up my hitters file, or the batter research that I worked on earlier today as well. And again, with the hitting, the hitting is complete, or has been organized for the entirety of the American League. Pardon me, I got text here, making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, yeah. So, yep, we're running late, but I should be up and going now. What this site has done is organized almost everybody. I have found a few missing players here and there, but for the most part has organized various statistics in baseball and has split it out quite similar to what Fantasy National would do for golf. You see, for example, this top line here, and I'll zoom in so that way you all can see. We'll just take these top three players here. AJ Pollock, who is now on the Seattle Mariners. He was with the White Sox last year. But you see, he was very, very, very successful, or is expected to be very, very successful against left-handed pitching. The higher the number, the better. So a dominant player against left-handed hitting, not so much against right-handers. But not only that, it goes much, much deeper in terms of the expected success versus fastballs, versus breaking balls, off speeds, the location of zones, counts. This is an analyst's dream, and we're going to go through some of these tonight, particularly the American League. We're going to try to figure out how we feel about how the American League is going to shake out, and see if there's any wagers that we might feel particularly fond of firing off here in the preseason. So let's just, because this right now is sorted alphabetically, let's just kind of go team by team. I'm just going to go alphabetical order. Let's start with the AL East. We're going to go look at Baltimore here, and I will zoom in. Hopefully this is large enough for chat to see. If it is not, please let me know. I will be more than happy to expand on it. But with Baltimore, you've got two catchers that are very, very solid. You got Adley Rutschman, James McCann. Right now, Baltimore's overall World Series odds are sitting at 70-1. that seems pretty high, actually. This is a team that I think is clearly on the rise. Now, their downfall will absolutely be their pitching. Let's see. To win the division, Baltimore is 22-1. The longest odds in the division. I don't think Baltimore is the worst team in the division by any means. Now, to say that they are going to win the division is pretty aggressive with the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Baltimore's win total is sitting at 76.5. My goodness, I think I'd fire the over on that. Yikes. This lineup's pretty darn good. Again, Rutschman, catcher. James McCann has been a very serviceable catcher in the major leagues for a while now. Ryan Mountcastle, a very balanced slugging first baseman. Gunnar Henderson. They are a little weak to left-handed pitching, I would say. Rutschman, much better hitting, or projected to hit right-handed pitchers better. Santander and Mountcastle are very good from the right side, or hitting against lefties. But other than that, I could see them struggling potentially. This is a total of a 42-46 versus righties. They also seem to struggle with the fastball a little bit. Like I said, I've just been gathering the stats. I haven't done a whole lot of analysis with it, but this 76.5 win total for Baltimore seems pretty solid. I think I probably would hit the over on that. I think this team has a decent chance to make the playoffs. They're plus 350 to make the playoffs right now. So I do like that. Of course, we have a bunch of, you can do futures, home run leaders, RBI leaders, hits leaders, and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of going through and getting a feel for baseball wagering and see what kind of strikes my fancy. Let's see. Gunnar Henderson right now is actually the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. He had a little bit of time in the majors last year, but he is sitting as the favorite to win Rookie of the Year at plus 225. Baltimore also has a pitcher that is pretty high in terms of the Rookie of the Year in DL Hall, who's sitting at 20-1 for Rookie of the Year. Not sure I'm going to be looking at him for Rookie of the Year. This is my lineups that I've been tracking at the players. It's been bad. It's been pretty bad for me this week. I wonder if I split screen these, is that big enough for you all to see? So please put it in chat if if I need to increase the size of the text, or if I need to, if you prefer me to just keep one spreadsheet up on your screen. But at the moment, the way I have this situated, I have the hitters over here on the left, pitchers over here on the right. Let's see. So there's Rookie of the Year, Cy Young. I don't think anybody really stands out. Like I said, their worst, Baltimore's worst part of the team is their pitching. They do list Kyle Gibson. I think that might be the only player that is being listed in terms of pitching for Cy Young. He's listed at 80-1. I would not be keen on firing that off by any means. Knowing Gunnar Henderson's probably going to play the majority, I would think the majority of the time at second, although the Orioles did sign Adam Frazier. Let's see, playoff parlays, division straight forecast. What is this? Ah, okay. I could see a scenario where Baltimore could end up second in this division. It's going to be very difficult for them, but I could see it if everything breaks well for them. It's interesting. AL straight forecast? Oh, okay. American League Championship Series. Division. Okay. I'll tell you what. Because I have not finished the pitching, that is kind of what I want to focus on and finish that up. And I can show you how this goes and what I've done today for gathering these stats. So I have 4 more teams to gather: Seattle, Tampa, Texas, and Toronto. And some of these players might not have stats, but this will give you an opportunity to just kind of make some notes if you would like to. Feel free to jump in chat if you have any questions. But I would like to finish this before we start doing a whole lot of projections. Chris Flexen. Doesn't look like Clark has anything, but Flexen does. And as you come and go this evening, by all means, say hello, jump in chat, ask any questions that you have. It does not have to be related to baseball. We can absolutely take a look at the Players Championship, it's just very, very difficult to do so with half of the field literally not finished for the second round. So any projections that I would do would be very incomplete. Very incomplete. Gosh dang it. Easton McGee. I believe he was right-handed. Gabe Spear. He's right-handed. Don't worry about the color coding on the individual team. I have been removing that. It is a product of Microsoft Excel, not copying over the the conditional formatting. Isaiah Campbell, no. Juan and Justin Topa. Juan, no. Justin Topa. There he is. And then Justice Sheffield. Gosh dang it. Oh, that's right. Sheffield is not with them anymore. I forgot. He was one of their top prospects, but was moved in a deal. Logan Gilbert, there he is. But again, as you drop into the stream, please say hello. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. Does not have to be baseball related in the least. Hey Darnell, I'm about tired of NBA. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I just don't do anything with Darnell. I just don't do anything with the NBA. I don't follow basketball enough, and I'm just not a fan of the NBA in general. I will watch college basketball, but as much as I was a fanatic about college basketball in my younger years, I've actually lost a little bit in that as well. I've just been more focused on baseball, golf now, obviously, and what I'm doing now is gathering all of I'm organizing. I've gathered it clearly, as you can see here. I'm organizing all of this data that I have found at a site that I discovered in the off season, and I am very interested to see how it works from a, say, like a DFS perspective. So it has, I mean, just for example, as pitchers, what I'm working on here, this is how, their projections against left-handed hitting, right-handed hitting, the quality of their particular pitches, four seam, cutter, sinker, slider, curve, all this stuff. 5 pitchers you're expecting to have big years or big turnarounds. Well, I tell you what, that's part of why I'm trying to gather all this, and I admit that I am having I had a late start to the stream as is, but thanks to the weather that is happening at the Players, I figured this would be a good time to check in on baseball and get ready for it. So I think I will be able to answer that once I organize all this. Off the top of my head, pitchers that I think to have big turnarounds. Turnarounds is more difficult than to say somebody that I think maybe overperformed. For example, just because his name is right here, like Nestor Cortez, Nick Pivetta, I would not expect them to repeat their success from last year. Very well could, but I think, especially in Nick Pivetta's case, that was a career year, I would think. Let me wait. Is Penn? I think Penn Murphy might actually be the next name. It is. Perfect. So I can go 2 in a row. Yeah. Pivetta, boom or bust. I was wrong on him last year a lot. I tried to target him a lot when I was doing a lot of baseball, like May and June, and he just pitched well. He just pitched well last year. I don't see that continuing. For some reason, the name Matthew Boyd is coming up because I think a lot of people will forget about him in Detroit, and I mean Detroit's pretty bad, but that he was very, very good before he had Tommy John. So, I kind of want to see where he sits in terms of how he looks coming back from Tommy John. But the name Matthew Boyd, just because it's probably forgotten, I do like an under the radar type thing, or under the radar type name. We just looked at some. I brought up DraftKings, and here's the Cy Young. I don't want any part of Jacob deGrom, at least in terms of outright wagers for Cy Young or anything like that. Logan Gilbert might be a tad bit interesting, just because I think Seattle's actually going to be pretty good this year. I don't hate Logan Gilbert, although I would not bet 18-1. That is very, very low. But I do think Logan Gilbert is somebody, especially in terms of either baseball drafts or, DFS or whatnot, that you should probably have your attention on. Robbie Ray and Luis Castillo, they're going to get a lot of recognition because of the strikeouts, sure. But Logan Gilbert's pretty darn good. I'll fix the coloring here in a second. I saw Taylor and Trevor Gott. Taylor saw something. Doesn't look like he has. And then Trevor Gott. But your thing on betting or occasionally running up the Pavetta strikeouts makes a lot of sense. He is always going to be a volume pitcher, a strikeout volume pitcher. Lodolo, Spencer. I don't think Spencer Strider is going to be sneaking up on anybody, but I mean, sure, yeah, absolutely. Lodolo is. I'm more skeptical about Lodolo, mainly because I just make fun of Reds. It's just Cincinnati is just it's their. I don't want to call them a joke. That is a very proud franchise, but man, they have not been run well in a long time. Which, as a Cubs fan, makes me very happy. But they've had way too much talent for the lack of success that they've enjoyed. I don't know. Like, let's see. Where's Lodolo sitting in NL Cy Young? Like, so here's the thing with Spencer Strider. Like, he's already the 5th favorite to win the Cy Young. For some reason, Sandy Alcantara is the leader. I don't think I would make him the favorite to win the Cy Young. I mean, I guess I get it. Lodolo's not listed. Hunter Green was just named the opening day starter for Cincinnati today. I did see that. I tell you, somebody who's actually very, very unsung. You were mentioning, either turnarounds or whatever. Don't sleep on Tony Gonsolin. I really like Tony Gonsolin. I think he should have a pretty good year. The Dodgers are always loaded. I think he's still on the Dodgers. Again, I've been all in American League today, so that's where my focus has been. So if he's changed, then apologies for that. But let's see. Ooh, somebody else. Mike Clevenger. Where did he go? Did he go... he went somewhere odd. Where did he go? Minnesota. Won the Yankees. Won Oakland. Where did Mike Clevenger go? Texas? No. Because he used to be in Cleveland. Oh, he's with the White Sox. Take a look at Mike Clevenger. I don't hate that at all. He's sitting at 80-1 for Cy Young. I don't know if I'd bet a Cy Young for Mike Clevenger. This guy was very, very good with his time in Cleveland. And he's going into the same division. He was in San Diego for a little while, but he goes back to the division where he was very, very good. He doesn't have to face the best lineup in that division, in my opinion, in the White Sox. Now that he's pitching for the White Sox, I kind of like Mike Clevenger. Heading downhill. I don't know. I would not be surprised to see Mike Clevenger put up some good numbers this year for the White Sox. Just trying to think of teams that I'm high on. Like, I'm very high on Baltimore in the AL East, but I would want no part of their pitching. Apologies, the second regular is telling me that apparently I'm an idiot in that regard. Or she's just yelling at me to yell at me. That's also quite possible. Kittredge is not listed. Oh, Foucher and Colby White. Who are you sitting on, Darnell, that you are intrigued by? And then how are your players lineups looking? Colby White, Colin Porsche. Okay, COLB. Nope. You didn't play. Well, yeah, it's been pretty brutal. I've had a couple of correct assumptions. Most of my stuff is pretty bad this week. Most of mine is pretty bad. Let's see. Shane Lowry fighting back to +2 helps. I really do think the cut will be at +2, so I think he's safely into the cut. Was definitely right about Sam Burns, though. Yeah, his putting. I mean, it was all in the putting because he had never really played well at Sawgrass, but it was all about the same surface at the other tournaments. I was wrong on Morikawa. I was nowhere near Morikawa. Xander has struggled like I thought he would, but he's actually going to make the cut. Cantley's played pretty well. And Fitzpatrick played awful. And I was very, very high on Fitzpatrick. So, you know, I've had a couple of things right. But overall, it is looking like it is going to be a bad week for me. Having said that, I was very, very high on Victor Hovland, so he is single-handedly trying to keep me afloat. What's he? Is he at -2? I think the last I saw he was at -2 because I know he shot even yesterday. And then once play got suspended today, I knew more than likely they weren't going to play again, and if they did, they definitely weren't going to get the entirety of the round in. So quite honestly, I just switched my focus to baseball because it was going to be very, very difficult for me to do showdown for golf with what ended up being half the field not completing the second round. Yeah, I mean he's played well. And the tougher a tournament gets or conditions get, Tyrrell Hatton is good. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It really does. I don't know. I don't see it continuing for him specifically at Sawgrass. But I've been wrong before. I know it's shocking to hear that, but I have been wrong before. So what I do know, and this was, I mean, I can't take really any credit for this, but, you know, Chad Ramey, for as well as he shot yesterday, he was going to come back down to earth. He seemingly made every single putt yesterday. He was going to come back down to earth. Like I said, I've been wrong on Morikawa. I'll bring up my lineups, see what I've been right and wrong on. Connors has struggled, so I was wrong on that. Of course, Rahm's withdrawal, like you can't expect that. So I had Rahm a few times. Keegan really baffles me. I used him in half of my lineups. Again, a lot of it due to the fact that he had just played this event so very well. Hovland, Day, of course, Day's very, very good. I do have some parlays that I think are doing okay. I'd have to get that sheet out. Let's see. The Fitzpatrick and Lowry one is probably done. I don't think Fitzpatrick is going to make the cut. Rory, definitely not going to make the cut. Although, I did say it was going to be bold to project him to miss the cut, but he is quite volatile here. He is won and he's missed the cut back-to-back years. So, I only used him once, so that's not going to hurt as bad. I wish I had some more Justin Rose. He's played a lot better, and I was very high on him. But you can see, like, a lot of these, I would throw in a Singleton. I threw in a Singleton of Aaron Wise. Now, Kevin Stroman's played okay. Threw a Singleton of Kurt Kitayama and Thomas Detry. It just doesn't feel like things have worked out for me this week. Like, I only have one Colin Morikawa. It's in a lineup that's already lost 2 players. I do have an outside chance at a couple of 6-6s here. Outside chance. Lowry is, quite on the fence. I haven't seen what Montgomery's done. I know he was very good yesterday. I know he was giving a lot of it back today, but I didn't see where he ended up. So, I got a chance at some 6-6s, but nothing. You can see all the black. Those are guys that have, confirmed to miss the cut. Like, it's just not great. However, my 600-1 shot to win is still technically alive. So I can hang my hat on that. And he's 12-1 to top 20, which I also put in. So, if I hit a 12-1 top 20, that's going to pay for a lot of the week. And I can hang my hat on that, considering nobody was talking about Chesson Hadley at the beginning of the week. Now, I wouldn't have used him in DFS. I didn't use him at all in DFS, but he fit the criteria that I put forward for winners. So I was like, you know what? Why not? What I'm going to be upset about is if Hovland ends up winning. I really wanted to fire off a Victor Hovland bet, and I ended up not doing it. So if he wins, I'm going to kick myself. But you can't bet everybody. I guess technically you could, but you're not going to win money in the long run doing it. But it looks like you have saved yourself this week by not playing. Again, apologies if this is a tad bit boring. Did I put him on Seattle? He needs to be on Tampa. I'm just trying to finish this here, and then we can really do some analysis. You would have been okay. What do you know? I think you might have sent your lineup to me on social media. I'm remembering like you had Hatton and Siwoo. Was it Hatton, Siwoo, Jason Day, Keegan? Can't remember the other two. Homa, Lowry, Day, Mitchell, and Keegan. Homa, he was even. He was hovering right around even. So I guess he stayed there. And again, nothing is set in stone yet because they still have to come out tomorrow, and the wind tomorrow is gonna be pretty bad. They're getting no break in terms of wind. Now they aren't gonna have the rain and all that stuff, but the wind is still gonna be there. So Mitchell, you took out. Like I said, I mean, I was very high on Lowry, and he blew up yesterday, but he's got it back down to +2, and I really, really do believe that the cut is going to be +2. I'll just bring up Windfinder. Well, if Lowry misses the cut, then you can yell at me and digitally kick me in the dick. But like tomorrow still looks pretty bad. So you saw today's, because they're going to have to play early. Now, afternoon, once the cut's made, looks beautiful. But you're still going to have to deal with wind in the morning, which is what is going to establish the cut. Because I believe they started around 7:30 this morning. And you have, what? Yeah, I mean, +2's at T68. I don't see it getting easier by any stretch. So I would venture to say +2's going to make the cut. And you still got a lot of play. I mean, you've got guys that have more than a full side. Eric Cole still has 10 holes left. Wallace still has 10 holes left. So Finau coming down. There's Taylor Montgomery, who's really not done well. I would be surprised if it didn't go to +2. I don't see any way it's going to +3, and I wish it would for Fitzpatrick, but I just don't see it. And I think the +1s are very comfortably safe. So I think you would have been okay. Lowry, Homa. Where's Homa? He was, like I said, hovering around even. So he finished at even. Okay. J-Day, of course. Keith Mitchell. When it's tough, you got to think about Keith Mitchell. Yeah, you'd have been fine. You'd have been fine. I was wrong on Cantley. He's played well this week so far. Haddon's -2. Siwoo's -2. Rose -2. Bazainuch played very, very well. Svensson played well last week too, so Svensson generally does like shorter courses. So that, I suppose, isn't the biggest surprise. I am surprised that Taylor Pendrith's playing so well. Benny on. I do have Adam Hadwin quite a bit. That wasn't too much of a shock for me. So, okay. Like I said, ever since the delay, I went into baseball mode. You going to be watching any of the World Baseball Classic? Darnell? What little I've seen has been very, very entertaining so far. Oh, nah. I will say the guy from that the Red Sox signed is been lights out for Japan so far. Japan has looked like world beaters. They demolished Korea. I don't know who they played in the first game, but they've looked very, very good. Oh, you were talking about pitching earlier. Tyler Glasnow, waiting for the season to start to win back all the money I lost playing NBA. Yeah, such is the life. Such is the life of when you decide to go down the road of DraftKings or of the ilk. The gambling. Tyler Glasnow is somebody to keep an eye on as well. He is very volatile, but strikeouts galore. You see 31.5. His teammate, McClanahan, I don't even think was that high. Yeah. Here's McClanahan. There's Glasnow. 28% for McClanahan, 31.5. Super draft. I might eventually. I'm just kind of stuck in my lane right now, and not only that, there are some things on the horizon, so I'm trying to keep my options open, and that's really all I can go about on that. But I have looked into it. All right, 2 more teams, and then we can really get into some of this. I will say the one of my friends who follows on Twitch chat, he'll jump in every once in a while in Twitch chat. He does a lot of NBA betting, and every Thursday he'll come up to me and say how close or whatever he was on some big parlay that just didn't hit because somebody didn't have X amount of rebounds or assists, and that's why I don't get into the NBA. I'm sure there's a lot of good analysis and stuff out there with it. Golf and baseball are enough for me. NBA seems like it would be very, very hard. Seems like it would be very, very difficult. And then, you had your, I know that was years and years ago, but you had the ref scandal. What was his name? I'd know it if I heard it. Donahue, something like that. The guy was a ref and was fixing games or changing point lines or whatever. Like that threw a lot of my interest into NBA out of the window. Not to say that not all refs are crooked or whatever, but like with Major League, they might be bad, but they're not actively trying to change the outcome, so to say. So, Dane Dunning, yep. The random. Yeah, that's another thing. Another thing too, because like you'd have to be pretty. You'd have to be pretty good at predicting load management, I would think. And I'm sure teams have patterns and stuff and coaches or whatnot, but again, my knowledge of the NBA is very, very, very minuscule. So, if I'm years behind, then take it for what it's worth. But something along the lines of Popovich, when he would just seemingly randomly sit guys. Which, is his job to win a championship, and if that was, if that called for resting guys, so be it. Hey James, so thanks for jumping in chat. We are looking at baseball tonight with the players suspended and literally half of the field having not finished their second round. Anything that I would do for Showdown is speculative at best, because, for example, let me save that. I'll bring up Fantasy National. Like, we could look at strokes gained numbers, but half of the field hasn't finished round 2 yet. And while I'm fairly confident that the cut line will move to +2, I've been wrong before. So when play got suspended today, and I just had a feeling that it was going to be suspended the rest of the day, but even if it wasn't suspended the rest of the day, I knew that there were going to be enough players that hadn't finished their round that Showdown for the round 3 or weekend golf was going to be pretty difficult to do. So I changed focus into baseball. And with the World Baseball Classic starting and all that stuff, I'm just kind of in a baseball mood. So I've got 1.5 teams. I'm in the process of Texas. I'm going alphabetical order. All I need to do is Toronto, and then we'll really start looking at some American League type either wagers or just ideas. And I have DraftKings up over on the side for wagers that we might think about hitting throughout the evening, or at least just take a look at. Darnell has thrown out a couple of questions, as in, maybe pitchers that either are on the rebound or that I'm very, very high on. That's also something that we can look at tonight once I finish organizing all this. And apologies that I didn't have it done earlier today, but I had started on golf and then switched gears, so running a little bit behind. But I appreciate you jumping into chat. Feel free to throw out any questions, even if it's about golf. I mean, I'll answer what I can. I won't have a lot of confidence in it. And of course, any baseball questions as well. Did you play any week-long lineups for the players? If so, how are they going? I hope they are going better than mine. But it has been carnage down there. And I don't think I have been right about a lot. I've been right. I've been correct about a few things, but not nearly enough to the level of what I've been wrong about. Nate Eovaldi on Texas now. So again, apologies. I am trying to speed this up. Vanesco, and then who was the next one? Spencer Howard and Taylor Hearn. But once I'm able to get all of this organized, we'll be able to take a look at a few things. And this will be just for the American League. So do keep that in mind. I decided to break it out by American League and National League, and trying to tackle the entirety of Major League Baseball would have been, probably would have pulled whatever little hair I have out. So I have been just focused on the American League. But I will say I did get to play a little bit of golf yesterday. It was a little chilly. I think it was in the 50s. I did get out and play some golf yesterday. I technically played Monday too, but I should say I swung the golf club and I hit the golf ball. It was nowhere near where I intended to hit it Monday. Yesterday was a lot better. Monday was a disaster. Yanni Rodriguez, nope. And last one was, I don't think he's got anything. Nope. All right, one more team. But how has your week been, James? I mean, for that matter, the same. Darnell, how's your week been? I don't remember if we talked too much about college basketball. I know P joined me last year for the March Madness show, or the DFS Tactics show right before March Madness. Who are your all's college basketball teams, if you have any? Because knowing where both of you all are in the country, both of you have teams that are, one's doing really well. And what are you all going to do for bracket pools and all that stuff? Because March Madness is also right around the corner. Anthony Bass. Anthony. Oh, Chad Green's on Toronto now. Interesting. I did not realize Chad Green had moved on from the Yankees. Okay. Guess he doesn't have any things from last year. Bassett. Yep. almost done. Again, apologies. And then we will have the entirety of the American League that we can look at. Eric Swanson. But feel free to throw out all of your questions that you have. Would love to hear from you all. Wow, Ryu doesn't have anything from last year. That's interesting. Jordan Romano. Barrios, Gaussman, Darnell, if you're still there, like you talked about young pitchers, how do you feel about the Toronto guy, Nate Pearson? Everything that I have seen seems like he is going to be the real deal. Are you in agreement with that? How do you feel on that? Thomas Hatch, there he is. I'm sure we've talked about it, James, but I'm just not remembering it. I know you have AAA fairly close to you, but is it the Rangers that is big in your area? Because I know you mentioned the Chiefs for football, which seems surprising. I guess what the Rangers or Astros maybe? Sorry, a friend of mine, we worked together on year-long fantasy golf contests. Sent me a slight reminder of how I fucked up not taking a certain player this year. And he's casually reminding me of that. Alright. Only a few more, thankfully. Then we can really get into it. God dang it. right, Kikuchi, left-handed. Pop and Thompson. Perfect. Back to back. Oh gosh dang it. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. Alright. Finally. We have completely gathered the AL. Ugh. I gotta do all this again for the National League. Alright. So while we're here in the pitching, let's go ahead and zoom in and let's see, for Toronto, that's one starter. Let's just highlight their each team's starters. Manoah, Bassett, Ryu, Berrios, Gaussman, Kikuchi. That's 6. Pearson, I believe, is a starter as well. Texas. Oh, I need to undo that one. Take away the color coordinating. Alright, so Haney is 1. Dunning is 2. Otto, DeGrom, Odorizzi, John Gray, Martin Perez, Eovaldi. Good Lord, they got a bunch. Otto's probably not going to be a starter for them, but he did start for them last year, so I'll highlight him. Rasmussen, Springs started for them. Clanahan and Glasnow. Zach Eflin's actually a starter for them. Starter as well. Seattle, Flexen, Kirby, Gilbert, Castillo, Gonzalez, Robbie Ray. Oakland. God, this team's so bad. Blackburn is 1. Caprillion. I guess Aller. I think Martinez is a starter for them. Good Lord, I don't know. I don't know any of these people. Petition to have Oakland be a AAA team. Good Lord. Moneyball just turned into money savings, basically. So Rodon, Herman. I think Montas is out for the year, but I'll still highlight him. Severino, obviously. Nestor Cortez. Yep. Minnesota has Paddock over. Joe Ryan is 3. Lopez is 4. Sonny Gray is 5. Molly is 6. Angels. Here's a fun thought exercise. Where do we think Shohei Ohtani is going to be at the end of the year? Throw that in chat. That'd be a fun one. Where is Shohei Ohtani? What uniform is he wearing at the end of the year? Ubik is 2. Lyles. I think Heasley starts for them. I know Lynch does. Singer and Keller. Houston. Javier is 1. Valdez is 2. Arikides 3. McCullers is 4. Oh God, who's their fifth? Is it Garcia? I think it's Garcia. Detroit. Casey Mize is 1. Rodriguez is 2. Boyd. Manning started for him. School starts. Oh God, I don't know. Turnbull, I think he starts for him. Cleveland. Quantrill 1. Beavers 2. McKenzie's 3. Plezak's 4. I think it's Savali. White Sox. Dylan Cease. Lynn. Giolito. Kopech. I think Lopez. I can do Clevenger as well, probably. For Boston, Sale, Kluber, Paxton, Pavetta's 4. I guess Whitlock is starting for them. I don't really know. And then finally for Baltimore, Wells, I think, starts 1, 2, 3, 4. He has to be a starter if they're putting him on the AL Rookie of the Year. All right, so there's their starters, and I'll minimize or bring that. Let's bring the hitting back up, and let's just kind of get a gauge for some of these players or some of these teams here. We're gonna put this in bold. We're just going to average just to get a feel for how these teams line up. So clearly the Orioles are much better projected against right-handers. They really prefer breaking balls. Okay. Let's see. If we go through the AL East, let's just kind of take a casual look here. The pitchers that we have stats for Boston and their starters. Breaking ball, pretty decent there. Now Pavetta, not the most solid. And you see Orioles are better against righties. You've got Kluber, assuming Whitlock is in the rotation, and Pavetta. So 3 righties and then 2 lefties for the Red Sox. I think Baltimore probably matches up better against the Red Sox. Yeah, because Kluber's best stuff is his breaking ball, and he uses it quite often. Curveball there. Whitlock and Pavetta. Let's see. Percentage-wise, yeah. So Pavetta uses his four seam 51% of the time. Or at least he did last year. Whitlock used his sinker 60% of the time. Okay. What is their rating on these pitches? Breaking stuff, 82. So Whitlock's breaking stuff's actually really good. Whereas Pavetta's is not. Pavetta is much more of a fastball pitcher than a breaking ball pitcher. Or at least quality-wise, it seems like. Okay. All right. If we take a look at the Yankees, again, you got a lefty, but then you're loaded with righties with Cole, Herman, Severino. Let's see. So it looks like the Orioles would do very, very well against Domingo Herman. Looks like they probably struggle against the rest of the Yankees rotation. Herman's breaking stuff not the best. Garrett Cole, solid, of course. Severino, pretty darn solid. Tampa. Rasmussen, Springs, McClanahan. So Tampa looks like they would probably be pretty... Tampa looks like they have a pretty good rotation to handle the Orioles lineup. And then Toronto. Now Toronto's filled with righties. I mean, Ryu and Kikuchi are lefty, but Manoah and Bassett and Barrios and Gossman. Let's see how these rate out. So 83, pretty good, pretty good. Well, their breaking stuff's all pretty good at least. So really the worst one is Kikuchi. But he's pretty darn good against left-handed hitters. And that is what the Orioles seem to have the best of. Now, Rushman hits switch hitting, but he's much, much better hitting against right-handed pitching, meaning hitting when he's hitting left. Now, Santander's pretty good both. But Mullins, very bad against lefties. Frazier, very bad against lefties. Just kind of bad in general. Gunnar Henderson struggled against lefties last year. All right, so the AL East rotations seem like they can seemingly handle the Orioles lineup, with the exception of maybe Mountcastle. I wonder. Let's take a look at some Ryan Mountcastle props. Probably best. He would probably be best at home runs, but I don't know if I'm going to pick him to win or to hit the most homers in the majors. He is 75-1 for leading the majors in homers. I don't hate that. He's pretty bad against off-speed stuff, though. He loves breaking balls. Pretty good against fastballs, but really bad against off-speed. So, interesting, I suppose. All right. We look to Boston. Boston made quite a bit of moves this offseason. So clearly Boston's much better against right-handed pitching as well. As you can see here, versus righties versus lefties. When you take a look at their lineup, I mean, Verdugo, left-handed. Duran, who's going to be pretty good, I think, left-handed. Devers, Casas, left-handed. So they're going to struggle against left-handed pitching. They are seemingly best against fastballs, particularly Devers. Kind of balanced in general. They don't like splitters, though. They do not like split finger pitching. Feel free to jump in chat with any questions. I think right now it's just me hanging out. Now that I've gotten all of this stuff organized, I feel like I can do a lot of research with it forward. So I actually might stop the stream here unless someone jumps into chat and has a particular question. But thanks, Darnell and James, for jumping into chat for a little bit. Just gathering some of this research for baseball. I'll have a lot to show you all leading up to the baseball season. Really looking forward to it. Now that I've gotten all of this data organized, I'll be able to hone in and probably give you my analysis. So thanks to everybody for joining, supporting the channel, watching, listening, commenting. Good luck with all of your lineups for the Players Championship. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific questions. I will be able to answer any questions you have regarding the Players Championship before round 3 tomorrow. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you Sunday evening for the Valspar Initial Research Show. So for this weekend and every weekend, may all your bets be profitable. Until next time.